Attention gamers, League players, Baron slayers and OnlyFans payers. Top lane in League of Legends is an island, which means the 2 players up there have enough alone time to make a baby, while the other 7 players and the 1 turbo virgin who inevitably got butthurt and AFK'd are practically playing a totally separate game. And history has taught us that while everyone has a different plan for what to do when they are on an island, a few of the more famous pissheads from across the pond have proven that playing the role correctly can be rewarding. That said, there's tons of different play styles and strategies to abstaining your way to LP, with everything from feeding and focusing on towers to whatever Teemo mains do.
Your dad is gay.
But after taking a long shit after having an even longer loss streak, I've come to the realization that AP Varus is the best top laner in the game, and here's how I came to this conclusion. The best champ for this role is obviously a ranged champ, because unless you are against the shroom rabbit or this bird breeding lesbian, you'll have more pressure than a migraine for free early game. They have to have good wave clear to let these hooded midget employees know who's boss when you are left alone with them, so that you can get to towers faster. These you need to be able to kill fast. Like in less time it takes everyone else to finish circle jerking each other off and actually rotate to stop you. You'll run into a lot of champs who are descendants of one of these, so you'll need the ability to not just erase squishies from your sight but also be able to politely ask tanks where all their health went. Lastly, because warding is for absolute pussies, you'll need to be able to handle yourself with more grace than a young Riley Reid in the presence of surprise threesomes. So today I'm going to show the runes, the build and everything you need to know to see why this is the best champ for the role. Starting with exactly how you should not play it. You see, since you're advertising your sexual inactivity by playing a ranged top laner, you'll likely be pushing harder than someone who hasn't taken a shit for a week and is about to go on vacation with his girlfriend's family. So while it may be a good idea to start thinking about where their jungler is, I promise you it is not a good idea to track him down, grab 2 chains and try to personally piss on his parade early, because you'll likely get him less than a nickel from needing an ambulance, and then your inner silver tendencies will come out. You'll take a detour back to lane that consists of being Dr. Danger deep into enemy territory, burning all your cooldowns like they have herpes-ridden bed bugs on them, until you think it's all worth because you finally nabbed first blood after 3 minutes of wasting time. All while the hardest scaling champ has been alone up top, stacking so much he could get a job at IHOP on the goddamn spot. This means you'll be more behind than a caboose, and let me tell you, this is not gonna be a train that you're excited to see. Towers will be cosplaying a decoration in the room of a murder, as you'll be cosplaying a dead bitch who is trolling because they are playing the best top laner in a way that will make your teammates wish your dad would have pulled out and busted on your mom's chest instead, because they have to deal with you and what you single-handedly turned Gnosis into, until you are staring at defeat like someone with a foot fetish, with the other team questioning your intelligence at the end of the game. And that, my friends, is what you should not do with this pick. Moving on to what you should do instead. First, visit bespokepost.com. Bespoke is a site full of swag where users are sent bundles of super quality goods every month. 90% of the products come from small brands, many of which are based right here in the US. Each bundle is roughly $70 in value, and they are tailored for you each month based off your preferences. They arrive in simple boxes like this and are the perfect way to make a sophisticated man out of someone who doesn't even have a working utility knife. The parked bundle is this itty bitty bag that transforms into a full-blown campfire chair. Then there's the fillet bundle. This features the almost 4-inch knife and the one he told his girlfriend not to worry about. Just look at how the sharpness turns me into literally Bobby Flay against this banana. Then there's the weekender, bringing stylish luxury to an overnight bag. You can get 20% off your first bag by using code RAV20 at checkout, or going to bespokepost.com/RAV20, where you can preview your first box before it's sent and accept it, swap it, or skip the month altogether. So thank Bespoke, and let's get back to the game. Now it's worth noting that your lane opponent will sometimes get first blood, because this is solo queue and your teammates are going to be the stupider of the shitters 9 out of 9 times, but this shouldn't change the game plan, which is to shove an arrow down the dude's pie hole every time he makes eye contact with one of your hooded midgets. In this particular case, I could rely on the fact that Garen mains have room temperature IQs, so I could just pepper him until all the spins clearly made him disoriented and not thinking straight, as he extended the fight long enough to fool me into thinking he was a beginner bot. So I lit the tit on fire, flashed and popped a round in the air to celebrate that this was gonna be an easy lane. I use my money to buy a shard off of kerchief and then I continue wondering if this particular disco dipshit is playing while tripping on acid or if he's just used to relying on the constant stream of Soraka queefs packed into his passive to play this like he's blindfolded and using his feet to control the mouse, but the second I get him under half health I whip out the giant ship anchor sized chains I apparently keep in my pocket to kill him off in front of his butt buddy before herd dogging that Karas my simp away. And you know after a failed gank like this in this elo that jungler won't be coming back to this lane for the rest of the game. Which means next time this spinning shit stain thinks he can clear his wave and get out I put 3 pop rocks on him and then bust them before tying him up letting another 3 accumulate in a combo that I like to call Bruiser Be Gone TM. Then since I know Kanye has entirely too much PTSD from the last time he saw me I overstay with less vision than a fired fortune teller knowing I can hold my liquor if he shows up and they want to party so I amputate a large chunk of his health and then wait for him to come back looking for his missing brain cells long enough for me to combo into combust that ass for some sweet walk away ignite glory. Then I take his tower solo with no help from my jungler at 10 minutes. This gives me the shiv that's static with the magic pen Nikes, which means it's a perfect time to show off my pushing power mid by not proccing my demolish on the tower as if it's like a power move or some shit, but add tower numero 2 to the Rav takes over the world with AP Varus top list before 12 minutes. I continue my campaign to vandalize every stone sculpture while I'm enjoying the amenities of being the top that got ahead and now no one wants to interrupt what they had planned on their Sunday to come deal with me. And considering I've walked through the entire backyard and was knocking straight on the base's door up top I figured I should balance out the map a bit, you know, Bernie Sanders equal distribution my frozen arrow cock because they've been hearing Rift Alexa announce my name but they need to see the smoke firsthand. And she may have had her fun and games but then the only thing she was pretending to be was a dead bitch as I took her tower too and it was only a matter of time before she learned why I was smurfing on her shit for brains Garen. That doesn't change the fact that you get ahead enough on this pick no one wants to deal with you so I just walked up and vandalized these statues with no consequences like I was a graffiti artist who also runs the government. But a wise man once said there's no I in team but there are 4 I's in inting idiots, so I knew I had to group for objectives so my coworkers don't cuck up the good thing I have going here, and I figure the best way to deny their team dragon is to tie up their jungler and do 50 shades of great things to him till he has the ick and leaves. So we get first dibs of the red meat at McDragons and then as we're leaving my ADC is like, hey did you hear something, and I'm like nah I'm not shit, but then Foxy Mama is like, aw surprise bitches, hope you like hanging in your fountain, but I couldn't be bothered no matter how many kisses that AIDS infected dash slut blew my way so I killed her while the other whining whack-a-mole on my team popped up and volunteered to feed. Side note Rift Maker 3rd, this serves as the official baptism of you becoming a part of thou who can spank a tank. But before I could get to that point there was a cosmic wheat farmer running around ignoring the concept of walls and trying to see if he could crawl up Obama's wife's asshole, so I had to tie him up for her to learn to defend herself against such creeps. Gary has finally learned his lesson that I am the one who knocks, so he pisses off whenever he sees me, which lets me PvE this bitch and the other piece of base decoration she was designed to defend. But what's being fed is fuck without a little tomfoolery I think, so I plop my frosted nipples into a shrub that they may or may not have vision in, but I could care less because the first unsuspecting sluttily dressed fox-tailed anime character is gonna get surprised shitted on. This gives Disco Douche Canoe the motivation to try and explain to his teammates that he's not super useless anymore, but at this point 3 of my stacks is a fatal diagnosis, and then Kate is all like, hey it was fun hanging with you guys but my time has come and I have to go back to base now, leaving just me, my utter lack of accuracy and a few rounds to desk pop into the sky left over as Lilia contributes by huffing copium out of my asshole and doing nothing else. But it's okay, it just gave me some time to get to know her, which came in handy when I knew she would pick a losing fight with Lizzie the Lizard, and it would be the perfect opportunity for me to one day be able to say I chain banged a gecko. Anyways, team fights turned into Kanye thinking all ADCs were Jewish and having tunnel vision towards crawling up their taint, which was almost as useless as the pure existence of their Garen at this point, so call me Nancy Nukes a lot, and once I saw they were tapping out I figured I'll go out with a bang, hit a flash, peel back the foreskin, and I think the damage meters in this one were clear when they said, when did I get a Corki on my team? That said, I wanted to show the power of this pick in lane against someone who was actually born with a brain, so game 2 I'm against Man Bear Pig who fared much better, but it didn't change the fact that early game he still has to shake every minion's hand like a goddamn politician, and I just fire spitballs at them and him from afar, which leaves him lit on fire and me holding a fat charge up for the dramatic suspense. But it's not all fun and games. After a visit from their team's forest fucker, I was left lower than Dante's stuffed animal's self-esteem, and so when I saw Udyr putting on his scuba gear, I knew I was gonna get diving. I just had to make sure my shithole Rengar didn't get credit for playing cleanup crew right after. And you may be saying, Rav, why so hostile? And I'll tell you, it's because while he was off playing with his pets all by himself, these two shiitake sandwiches clearly figured an ADC up top would be the perfect camping buddy, but little did they know I can run circles around my statue while they trip over each other's ineptitude all damn day, so that didn't quite go as planned for them. But laning against two people alone all game eventually takes its toll, so they are at tier 2 knocking, while my mid laner David Blaine is like, here's a trick, I will take any value that I give to you as a teammate in this game, and make it completely fucking disappear before your eyes. So he continues to do that while we punish the bad guys for being more pushed up than a teen's tits on TikTok until we make more describe both this champ's name and her location. But man, Bear Pig wanted to tell my mid that he still can't figure out how he made all his value disappear, which put me in a flashable moment, but thankfully all it took was 5 fucking people to change this light bulb known as Riot's balance team, and eventually he went down. I rotate for an objective thinking it will make my uncle niece proud, but turns out there's a bit of business in the area to take care of before, and it involved firing cues at Timbuktu and then getting our story straight for when the police ask us questions about the double homicide that apparently went down around here. I feel bad about not appreciating David Blaine's magic earlier, so I schedule a team building exercise where we all try to simultaneously jerk off the biggest river worm I've ever seen, but Kanye comes in all like deader, and then with the purple jizz buffs imbued from the Baron Slay we can take down Bestiality Boy, which opens up a whole damn runway for me to static shift push some waves and nuke a tower. We end up getting an inhibitor, but then in true fucking lunatic league teammate fashion, the kids that I was babysitting stay open for business later than a Taco Bell drive-through, so I have to be the bad guy that kills Ellen DeGeneres, and then I find myself in a bread and butter pickle with my 2 camp roommates from earlier in a play that in my head felt like,
oh, look at the cleanse, look at the moves! Faker, what was that?
That said, my whole team abandoned me to rub silly putty on each other's nipples while the other team basically lined up a free dragon, but I had different plans. You see, I just had to wait for this cosmic wheat farmer to step into the BDSM zone so I could tie him up and stuff him like a taxidermied squirrel. Then I pulled the next epic play, pulling an arrow from my quiver, threw it in my bow, blew a kiss to my side hoe in Miami and let it rip. We got the drag obviously, then I started one-shotting their team. They got desperate with split pushing, and we most definitely didn't end up losing the game because Udyr is a broken piece of pancaked fuck, and I played more team deathmatch than I did MOBA, so with that, Varus is the best top laner in the game and you need to subscribe to my chizzy. Rav out.